The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. Today's feel good topic of the day is cultural trendsetters. We're talking about protecting your online content as a Black creative. There's been a lot of conversation around that recently online, so we're going to dive into that conversation, that topic. And our feel good vibe of the day is Mountain Bike Madness by Mr. Photogenic, so you do not want to go anywhere if you're looking forward to that laugh, or maybe you won't laugh. We will see. But before we get into all of that, let's see who is tuned in with us before we get into our feel good warm up this morning. Jack, I see we have Sean Smith in there with us. Good morning to you, Sean Smith.
Morning.
I see we also have Rochelle Sumner. Good morning.
Morning.
And I see that we have Key Haynes. I think that's Kivane. Good morning to you. She's over there watching us on Twitter today. I think normally she watches us on Facebook. If you are watching us anywhere online, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, make sure you run up the engagement. If you're on Twitter, run up those hearts. On Facebook, give us a reaction. Jackie and I do like the care reaction, but you can pick your favorite. It's okay. We don't mind. And if you're over there on YouTube, make sure you smash that like button. And it looks like we have Carmen Mitchell-Jones. Good morning to you as well. So let's start off with our feel good warm up. And we want to know, what did you want to be when you were younger? We're talking about Black creatives and cultural trendsetters. And one of the things that Jackie and I kind of discussed backstage before we came forward was just like how there have been so many young folks becoming popular, creating careers out of being online and being themselves. So I actually wanted to ask the audience, like, what is something that you wanted to be when you were younger? And are you that role? Like, are you doing that dream job? So we want to kind of start our conversation with that. So Jackie, I have to ask you, because you've been in tennis basically your whole life. So have you always wanted to be like playing tennis, even though it's like, you know, it's your family business, but was that always something you wanted to do?
Yeah. So I always wanted to be a pro tennis player, and if not, like a tennis coach. So, you know, I mean, I know it sounds like, of course, but my uncles all had construction companies, so I used to hustle with them through their summers, weekends, stuff like that. And then I wanted to be contractor or contractor / architect. And then I went away with my uncle one time. And then because my uncle actually put me in an architectural design course at Bermuda College when I was 14. And it was so much fun, but we went on a family trip, and that was more important to him. But on that trip, he had a lot of houses that he would have to furnish and stuff because he was renting them out. And so I remember one time I was in there and I was rearranging the furniture store. And so he was in the back picking out different samples, and I came out and the manager was like, "Why does my floor look different?" And I had rearranged the floor. And I was like, "Oh, I think I like this part of, interior design. I think I like this part, furnishing and staging houses." And of course, he's just like, "Okay, here we go, another avenue of income." But I like teaching tennis. It's fun. I mean, I have moments where I'm like, "Oh my God, it's so hot. Can I get a different job?" Or it's freezing because the temperatures change. But for the most part, I like teaching. I would have loved to have gone pro, but
That's awesome. We're gonna actually come back to that because I see we have Sherry Vanderpool. Good morning, you're a Somerset fan. I'm actually gonna probably still do the Cup Bench Bencher for like the next week and change because it's just part of the season. Like the season's over technically. Like I am able to wear red if I want to wear red. However, the banter will live on for at least the next 2 weeks.
Can you though?
I can absolutely wear red now because the
team
already lost. My team already lost. It's over. It's not too soon.
I feel like you have to wait till Friday. Like Friday's the last day.
I mean, I haven't worn red, mind you. I have not worn red. I just know that I now will not be called out if I wear red. That's the difference. Like I will be called out. Right. That's the difference. And I have another Somerset. We have another Somerset fan in here, Janae. She says Somerset morning, yes. And so Shara's here with you. Like, yes, I can. I can.
See, exactly. Can you?
Yes, it's too soon, but
it just seems like you're bandwagon jumping.
Absolutely not. I feel like absolutely not. Absolutely,
it just seems like you're on the middle, like in the middle, and I feel like you should really stick to those colors for another week.
I'll never wear red again. Then that's the case. Like if you gotta go back, I'll never wear red again.
I'm gonna hold you to it. No, I'm like, is that red lipstick?
I'm throwing it all away. I'm never wearing red ever again. I'm gonna try my very best for the rest of my life. Anytime I see red, I'm like, ooh, that's Somerset. No thanks.
Does maroon count?
No, I'm part of Crow Club. Like I can't not wear maroon.
That's why I asked. I was just like, I'm pretty sure you have a maroon shirt.
I absolutely have maroon. Maroon is not. No, it's red and red only.
Okay.
Red and red only. So if you're just joining us, we want to know, what did you want to be when you were younger? We are going to be switching over to our feel good topic of the day, which is, Black creatives and cultural trendsetters. But we want to find out from the audience, what did you want to be when you were younger? I see Larry Marshall Jr. in the comments. He said he wanted to be anything in sports. Larry, let us know what you're actually doing in sports right now, because that'd be something interesting that I would want to know. Because Jackie shared her story, like her family business has been tennis for like her whole life. She didn't get a chance to go pro, but she's still teaching. So what is it that you love about teaching, Jack, before I kind of share my story? What do you love about teaching?
Okay, so everybody that comes to me is just like, I'm horrible, I have no coordination. So it's just the growth in hand-eye coordination, and then just all the different techniques and stuff. I had this little girl that she couldn't hit the ball over the net when I first got her. She was 2. Her name's actually Cara Steele. So if you watch Good Day Bermuda, obviously the Daily Hour, you follow the Daily Hour on social media. She was the little girl that was swinging her flags for Somerset, the little one. Yeah. So I got her when she was really small, and now she's actually full on rallying. She's beating up on people short court. Like she went from not being able to hit the ball over the net to playing mini matches. And it's just watching that growth, and then the love for this sport and the passion for the sport just growing into them. So because most people, they're just like, I'm just gonna do it as fun and stuff. And I even have a client yesterday that they were just doing it for fun, extra fitness, and now they've got their own racket, their own tennis bag, they're ready for tournaments. So it's just the growth.
Right. And so I see that Kivane Haynes wanted to be a hairdresser. Kivane, what was it about hairdressing? Because I feel like not every girl, but I do remember a lot of women when they were younger saying they wanted to be a hairdresser just because we spent so much time in the hairdresser. So it's like one of those professions that you just happen to see. But Kivane, let us know in the comments why hairdressing? Like, what was it about hairdressing that you wanted to be? And then we have this comment from your fellow Somerset fan, Sherry Vanderpool, Jack.
Fashion, merchandising, entertainment, and hairdressing.
But then
you're in entertainment now.
But then she said she became a social worker, like as professionally, but side hustle life.
But social workers are like very important. They're needed.
Absolutely needed. Like, don't we need more?
Probably.
I feel like we do.
It would be nice if one day we'd meet last.
Yes, like we're a society where we're
I don't see that in our lifetime, though, unfortunately.
Absolutely. So let's get to some more comments. I see Janae Pereira Edna says she wanted to be an accountant because she loved math, or a pilot because she loved flying. And did you love flying like as a passenger, or did you really want to be like the one manning that plane? Because I feel like, when you travel, you'd say, oh, I love to fly, but do you really like to fly, or you just like the idea of flying? I mean, I love to fly, but I don't think I'm ready to be the pilot.
Like, how do you do under pressure?
Because what if the engine blows?
Yeah, I have a
That's
friend that
great.
actually flies planes. So he used to fly for DHL and then British Airways for a little bit. And I remember him talking to me about how they have to do the test and stuff and all the different things that they have to do. I'm just like,
Hard pass.
I'd probably always wear my my parachute just in case.
While you're sitting there trying to
They were
pilot
like,
the plane.
why you have your parachute on just in case
First.
I don't make it
Better
home
to be
tonight. Just gotta be safe.
I see we have a comment here from Sean Smith, Jack.
I want to be a firefighter because I wear glasses. I could not be one. Oh, because I wear glasses, I could not be one. However, I went into accounting and financing instead.
Interesting. So we have
I feel like that's
I
feel like that's 180, right? You say 180 because it's not all the way to the other
it's the
side.
opposite, yes. It's the opposite.
Right. Because but I get it because insurance is still helping people, but a firefighter is like in the action. I was talking to one the other day and I was just like, how do you do it? Because some scenes
for me, it's the long hours. It's the long hours and having to be on site. Like that for me is like the killer. Like I
it's 24-hour camping at Rubber Tree and no.
No thanks. So I see we have a comment here from Larry Marshall Jr. He says, similarly to Jackie, I coach track, wanted to run pro after college, but got injured and that killed that. That's one thing about injuries, right? I definitely feel like we should have a conversation around that because there is probably a lot of pro athlete potentials that didn't go through because they had an injury and so now they're not doing pro. So we're gonna get to some more comments before we have a quick commercial break. I see this one from Cy Witter.
Yeah, Cyril. I wanted to build computers growing up in 2000s, went to college and did calculus. That quickly changed my mind when numbers were no longer in equations. I changed it to business management. As soon as I saw calculus and I was just like, what?
Definitely.
First calculus is hard, but some of them you have to do like calculus 1, calculus 2, and
I've done
something after that.
Yeah, I've done advanced math and I've done calc 1 and 2 in college, and the more math I learned, the less I loved it. I was like, this is getting too difficult. So we have a comment here from Sheldon Jens. He says, good morning. I wanted to be a computer scientist until I learned about the internet. Then I wanted to be a web developer. Web development is great. I'm actually doing a web development course, which has been pretty interesting. I love coding. So I'm glad to be doing some coding in my spare time, whenever that is at this point.
I'm about to say what spare time.
When I'm sleeping, I could in my sleep. Just kidding. We have a comment from Dina Malcolm, Jack.
A waitress at Parakeet. They were so nice and pretty and gave me food. 6-year-old me. 6-year-old me couldn't imagine glamour.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, I wanted to be a waitress I wanted to be a maitre d' when I was young because that's what my dad was, and he made it look so fun. And I love food, so to always be around food, but that changed because he'd be up at 5 to make 6, and I was just like, see,
the way my sleep schedule was set up, I'm not for that.
No.
We have this comment from Janae. She says she was traumatized on a family trip and now she's scared of flying, but she still loves to travel. So that pilot idea definitely went out the window for Janae. And then we have this last comment from Sai before we go to a commercial break.
Oh, we did this one already.
Oh, we did? Oh, wait, why it came up twice? Oh, maybe it came up twice. Maybe it shows up twice. So maybe it was like, he went to make sure that we saw his comment.
I feel like, yes, he copied and pasted.
He was like, look, these girls ain't gonna ignore me today. We're going to take a quick commercial break and then we'll be right back with our Feel Good topic of the day. Don't want to go anywhere.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Well, welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we just finished wrapping up our Feel Good warm-up of the day, but I did want to bring in two comments from Kivane and Janae because they did share what they wanted to be when they were younger, and I don't want to miss these comments. So Kivane says she wanted to be a hairdresser, in case you're just joining us and you missed that part of the conversation. The reason why is because she loves playing with dolls and talking to her friends. She never considered being on her feet all day. And see, that's the thing that will kind of get you when you think about hairdressing, because it's like if you're only there for a short span of time, you're like, oh, this isn't bad. And then you realize how long their hours are. And then you're like, yeah, you know what? Never mind. It's a hard pass.
Yeah.
And then we have this comment from Janae, Jack.
I was always an athlete, but never thought I could go pro, although I played for the Bermuda national football and cricket squads, which I could have tried. I did get a diploma in sports and leisure management there. Oh, so I feel like a gym teacher would be a good career. And I think they need some gym teachers. I actually was thinking about being a gym teacher because I used to go into these schools to teach tennis. Mm-hmm. And it just seemed fun. And of course, you know, we all loved Arnold Manders up at Barclays. So.
I do like Mr. Manders too. And Rollins.
Manders. Yes, I love Rollins. They used to give me slips to go to the store all the time. I'm like, guys, let's get popsicles. And they look at me. Her, take this to the office. Okay. I'll go to the store and come back with a grocery bag. Best gym teachers ever.
They were definitely best. So if you're just joining, we're going to switch over to our Feel Good topic of today. Feel Good topic of the day. Today we're talking about cultural trendsetters. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this primarily is because I saw this email came into my inbox. It's from Afrotech. So I definitely subscribe to too many newsletters, and I have to unsubscribe because my email inbox is like over 3,000 and most of it's unread email newsletters. Like, I don't know if I'm the only person, but I'm probably not. Like, let me know in the comments if you subscribe to like a bunch of newsletters and then you never read them. Like, you subscribe once and then that's it.
I do. I click all of them there and I press delete.
Okay, I gotta unsubscribe, and that is definitely my intention, is to unsubscribe from the things that I don't read. But Afrotech is one that I read because it's about Black folks in the technology space. And so there was an article just summarizing the whole conversation around the TikTok challenges. And so one TikToker has actually received the copyright for her challenge. So she's the creator. Her name is I'm going to make sure I pronounce this correctly.
Kiara Wilson.
Her name. Yeah, Kiara Wilson. It's just she spells it different because, you know, we like to spell things differently. So Kiara Wilson, because
we're creatives.
We're very creative. She created the Savage Challenge, and if you're not familiar with Savage is, it's a song by Megan Thee Stallion, and that's actually, she's been credited. She, being Kiara, has been credited with helping Meg to become a Grammy Award winner off of that challenge, because the song became extra popular because of the challenge. Like, the song was dope. Megan Thee Stallion is a dope creative. But when the TikTok challenge came about, because so many Gen Z and millennials are on TikTok and they were doing this dance and it was all over the place, it was just like, all you heard was Megan Thee Stallion. Like, that's all you heard.
Everywhere.
So she now owns the copyright to that dance, which is great. That's like, I think it's a really big win for Black creatives, because so many times you'll see them create something and then never be credited as being the creator. So we kind of wanted to talk about that today. And so the first question that we have for the audience, and Jackie and I are going to talk a little bit more, we're going to banter about cultural trendsetters while you guys answer this first question. We want to know, who are some local and or international cultural trendsetters that you can think of, whether they're from back in the day, people today that you kind of see doing amazing things that are like setting trends in your local area or internationally. Let us know in the comments, because Jackie has spoken about backstage when we were talking like how TikTok became very popular, not only for Black creatives, but Jack, let's talk about the fact that TikTok almost low-key got disowned by Black creatives. Like, we were talking about that before.
People were ready to delete the app because there was nothing to look at anymore. Because, I mean, we go on to watch the dances that they're going to do, the makeup and stuff, the designs. There's one girl that I follow, and she will put face paint on herself to look like, say, the Avatar, like the actual movie, the blue Avatar, or she'll do different makeup designs where she has the skull on one side and then regular face on the other. And when that's how I noticed something was different. I was just like,
You kept scrolling.
let me go to her page. I'm like, she hasn't put anything up in like a week. What is wrong? Is she sick? And I had to go and find it. She's just like, and then of course I did more research and I found out people were on strike. And I'm like, okay, well, that means there's no dances. And I watched all the dancing, and then it's a lot of different things that you watch and there's nothing there. And then of course you have the others that are trying to be creative themselves, and they're just it was a fail. Did you see on the Shade Room where they tried to put all of them together and everybody was just laughing at them?
Oh, like all of the people that were trying to create post the strike? Yeah, I don't follow the Shade Room. I don't, unless you send me the stuff from the Shade Room, I miss it. But I'm not surprised, because I think the largest group of local and international cultural trendsetters, no matter where they are in the world. And let us know in the comments if there's anyone that you can think of in your local area that you think is a trendsetter. Black creators are usually, if not usually, they are the cultural trendsetters. And so for me, I'm not an avid TikToker. Like, I do go on TikTok and I do kind of spend hours at a time just watching the videos, but I'm not an avid. So I didn't really notice the change in the Black creators not being there till they came back. But I did see a lot of the conversation, and it was really interesting because back in June of last year, so when it was the whole Black Lives Matter, that was a big thing during the pandemic, during just in general, because Black Lives Matter, they still matter. They always mattered. America needs to get it together. But during the height of that, TikTok had like issued this apology around like just how Black creators were being treated on the platform and how their content was being suppressed. And I wanted to use air quotes, but I understand why it's being suppressed, because I understand the technology behind it. But there was a lot of, uproar about it. And so they issued this apology. And then like earlier this year, there was no change. And so it's kind of like one of those things that, because I understand the technology, I understand who's coding this, which is why I'm trying to get back into coding. They don't look like us. So they're coding their, call it unknown, unconscious bias, but they're coding their bias into the technology. And so
exactly
because of that, the technology is doing exactly what it's been coded to do, which is to possibly uplift white content and keep Black content down. And so for me, I found it interesting that there weren't many Black coders on their team, but then that also makes me be like, I get it. I understand why their app acts the way it does. It's not something that I would want to take on personally. Like, I wouldn't want to be the token Black coder at TikTok, because that's not a good space to be in. I mean, you see your employer possibly getting like just
ransacked.
Like PR. So I definitely do not envy anyone over there that's coding for TikTok. Let us know. Oh, so Jack, I didn't ask you this question. Duh, we asked in the audience, we haven't answered it. Who are some local and international cultural trendsetters that you can think of?
The first one that comes to mind is obviously fashion, Pearlie Frobert from Guilty Label. She's constantly bringing out new stuff, and I've always followed her. So I've watched how she's, sketched these designs, and I'm waiting for her shoes to come out, because she's always taken a basic pair of shoes and redesigned it. She's done the cuffs, she's done the star crowns for people's photo shoots and stuff like that. And so she actually did Sinead the Flowers music video. She's on a few of them, so you can just see the different ranges that she has for that. And then I am obsessed with this store, and it's called Urban Cottage. I'm not sure if everybody goes in there, but she started off down at Well Bottom, and she does a lot of reused wood for her displays and antiques. So she'll go and see somebody's got a dress on the side of the road, and she'll revamp it, redesign it. And I know that's not like one of the creators that comes to people's minds first, but if you go into that store, she has the different clothes, and she'll sell the furniture right off her store for you if you want it. So it's just different. She's a wicked creative, and she's also done music videos as well for people as well. Different stages she's helped set up for different parties, and she's just brilliant. So those are my top two.
You had to
As I'm
narrow it
sitting
down.
here, I'm still thinking about different people, but
Yeah.
those are my top two.
It's interesting because I actually thought of sports folks first. Like those are the people that came to my mind. And I'm obviously going to do this because y'all know what team I rep. For me, it's the Charlie Marshalls of the 90s.
Mhm.
It's the Herbie Bascums. Like it's my St. George's team that I remember when I was growing up. Those to me are like cultural trendsetters from a sports perspective, because sports is a way for people to be creative. And I don't think people look at non-traditionally creative industries as being creative, but it takes a certain type of person to want to go out there and stand in all whites and be able to,
geez.
and even so I will say this, I'm actually sad that these people play for Somerset, like the Dundee
Douglas.
Christopher Douglas, the Malachi Jones, Mally Erlensby, if you know him, even the Terrence Frays, like the way that they perform to me is creative. And I feel like, no, it's not for my team. They're not hitting sixes for my team. But when they do hit a six, I definitely feel like, yo, just the way that they swing the bat, and sometimes they're like just sitting there for a little while to like the showmanship.
Yeah.
I like the showmanship of cricket. So that for me is one thing that I really think that they are cultural trendsetters. And then another one that comes to mind, I guess, in the football space would be Clyde Best and Sean Goder, just because, and now Nikki, because they've been able to, you know, go overseas and like really become this like superstar. And
yeah,
you know, I think that's it. And Flora Duffy. Like,
well, then I'm gonna be biased, and I will slip my father in there because and I'm gonna tell you why. I didn't realize how much him and his team did for tennis in Bermuda until some people come from the International Tennis Federation came down for our zone, and we have he had put in and implemented a grassroots program, and of course we have a pro registry that protects the pros. He has a lot of different pockets that him and his team have put together that now other countries have started to use. So our grassroots program, they've taken that and used that and are using that in Barbados, in the Netherlands, in I think Italy took some of it as well. So there's different parts of the world that are actually utilizing his design for our grassroots program. Obviously, it's a bigger scale out there because it's more kids.
Yeah.
But you know, the school initiative with Chubb and stuff like that. Yeah,
That's awesome.
So I'm gonna throw that in there.
You should, and that's what I mean. Like I
didn't even think about it because I don't even think. We don't break. So I was just like, but then you said sport, and I'm like, oh my god, I completely forgot all that my dad did.
And I definitely want people to think of trendsetters not just in the creative space, like not just people that you see, you know, creating a TikTok challenge. Like there are other cultural trendsetters that we should be talking about, because that's where the conversation kind of dies down. And they talked about it on the Daily Hour, just like how can we be excited about being Bermudian outside of Cup Match? And so like I feel like the more you talk about the trendsetters in your neighborhood that you know,
awareness.
The easier it'll be for us to have this conversation. So I want to go to the comments. We have Janae Pura Agnes. She says, it's a Tika Agnes, 8 at 8. So vibrant and her energy is contagious. Is she a dancer or something? What does she do? Because I don't know.
I want to say she did fitness at one point because I know she.
Oh, I know. 8
Tika.
at 8. That's the brand name.
Yes, she has. She was doing stuff. I think it was with. She did the tacos.
Wow.
Oh my god, I love her energy.
Wow.
Love her energy.
I've been to an event where she did the catering for it. I think it was vegetarian. I can't remember if it was 100% plant-based. But it was wow either way. And I enjoyed it. We have a comment here from Jamal Hartman. He says, Teo Dill is a trendsetter, probably the most important of his generation, literally changed a conservative culture. And that's really important too, because when Teo was on the radio, I think we were still in high school.
Yes.
And I remember like that's when like radio was cool. I mean, we had radio. It was cool back then.
Yep. I knew who Teo Dill was without actually knowing what he looked like. Mm-hmm. Do you know how crazy that is? Like I could walk down the street and I would hear a voice and I would look and I'd be like, that sounds like Taya, but I could never, it was always in a crowd, so I could never pinpoint who it was. And then one day I found out who he, like I saw what he looked like, and I was just like, you look exactly what I thought you looked like. Like, you look like how you saw it. Like, yes.
And that's great, because sometimes that doesn't work out. Like, sometimes you think someone looks like you picture them based on their voice and they don't look like that. And you're like, wow, that's not who I thought. So that's great that Taya looks exactly like what you thought he would look like.
I love his energy. And of course, I had never had actual interactions with him, but I felt like he was one of my brethrens. How crazy it is. That's so wicked.
So we have this comment from Sean Smith. He says, when I started high school, men wearing a single earring in the left ear as well as having a single long plait was a trend, along with straight leg pants. However, I do not know who started it. Wait, let's talk about this. A single long plait, was this like in the back of the head? Was it on
you
the
mean
side?
tail?
Yeah, like where was the single plait? First of all, I do know about the left earrings, because I do know about that one. The straight leg pants. So when we say straight leg pants, we're not talking about like slim fit straight leg. Like, Sean, I need you to explain where this like long plait was on the head. And these straight leg pants, are they just like the trouser type pants, or are they jeans? Like, let us know in the comments those two things about that trend, because that's interesting. I would be really interested to know, just a little bit more about that. We have this comment from Jamal Hartman, Jack.
Larry Marshall Sr. is a trendsetter, for without his will to take on the government to end conscription, other groups wouldn't have a true path to follow. Previously, it was always unions and politicians. Don't forget to add yourself to that, Jamal. You were right there.
Right there beside him, yep. And then Shiana Tarini, like, sis is...
How did we forget about Shiana?
I didn't forget about Shiana. I kind of wanted the audience to...
I didn't actually put her in.
I knew about Shiana. Like, I knew about Shiana, but I wanted the audience to kind of possibly boost her up. If they didn't, I would have, because I love Shiana. I used to work with
She's
Shiana.
not even just like a regular, like, let me get out there and put... She was right at the front posting about what was the incident? Yes, I was trying to remember what the actual the event was.
What was that event? You can tell we didn't care about the event.
Those magazines that
revolve around the world, and that's the only reason I remember it, because it's called Revolve Around the World. But yeah, Shiana is definitely a local trendsetter, and internationally as well. Like, I remember working with her with Style Bermuda, and she's the reason why I got into social media and why I started to like take it a little bit more seriously, because back then Facebook was the first thing, or like the only thing that was like really popping off from a social media perspective. We had High Five, but that was definitely like the Facebook of the day. So High Five was more personal. Facebook was kind of like where you started to like take yourself more seriously. And then from there, I've just like been bit by the social media bug, and I just love it. So definitely Shiana, and just how she's been able to like go from Bermuda to being the costume designer for shows on HBO. Like, what? That is just amazing. Amazing. And we have another comment from Jamal Hartman. He says, Siobhan Lee with Dove and Butterfly, as well as Bermudians Be Like. What's Bermudians Be Like? Oh, yes. What? That's the girl.
Oh, you didn't see my face? I'm like, yes. I was like, you are not about to say Bermudians Be Like. No, I love her videos.
I couldn't remember if that was her. Okay, I couldn't remember like a shoe, because I remember her. I miss her. Where is she? She needs to come back. We're gonna hit her up. She needs to come back.
I'm pretty sure she posted a video. I saw a video, but I can't remember if it was an old one or a new one that she had reposted. Okay, but it popped up on my feed, and I was just like, yes.
So I remember she would say that she would like take a little break and she would kind of be back, but I miss her.
She's busy. She just
Dove and Butterfly always be selling out, so maybe that's why.
She's busy. I follow her story. I would love to get her on, but she just got another spot that she is setting up so that she can hold more inventory, product inventory. So she's growing, and I love how she posts what she wanted and what she has, and all the hours and work. And shout out to her team as well, because I mean, she would still be trying to do it with just herself, but no, I think she has like a team of 5 girls people that will help put the products together and then do deliveries.
Dope. So we have this comment from Carmen Mitchell Jones, Jack.
John Woolridge, producer, musician, proud to be Bermudians.
He was actually our music teacher at Berkeley. So if you ever took music at Berkeley,
I love Woolridge. What? I woke up like, Woolrich! And he'd be like,
that was the
what are we
one
doing
class.
today?
If you left your class to like go to the bathroom, you would, and if you were in that building, you would find your way in his class to just sit over.
Always.
Because
remember, he made us make a song, produce it, put it on a CD, and then try to make a music video to it. I didn't like my song. I can't remember how it went, but I didn't like it.
You didn't sound like you were proud of it, so we're gonna let that song. It's still there. We're gonna leave it right where it is. It is. We have this comment from Sean Smith. He says the plait was located in the back of your head at the end of your hairline. So the rat tail. Yes. Yeah. You could have it on the right, the left, right, or center. Interesting. Check y'all out there trying to do something. I see the rat tail has come back. I've seen some others. I think his name, Trevor Jackson. He's on Grown-ish. He has like the little rat tail plait.
Bobby Valentino. Yeah, Bobby Valentino tried to bring it back, but he also was like a it was
like a puff.
Puff?
It wasn't like a. It was like
how I'd have a bun, like how I'd have a low bun, but it was not the slick back. It was like all this was shaved on, and then it was just like pew.
It didn't work. We have this comment from Elizabeth Barrow, Jack.
Yes, Burr memes. Some of the biggest trendsetters when it comes to the way the media landscape has evolved in Bermuda. Absolutely.
1,000%.
Like it's the first place I go as soon as something happens. And even Mr. Photogenic, like between those two, those are the first things I go to because the comedic relief as well. Obviously they will hit you with everything else, but the comedic relief that they give to certain situations, I'm like, let me see what's happening. That's the first thing I look at in the morning. Like, let me see.
Definitely one of the first things. Definitely one of the first things. I do enjoy both. Both brands are like you said, they give us some comic relief, and sometimes it's serious content, and sometimes it's content that's very valuable. Like they share a lot. Burmese specifically share a lot of history, and they give them to you in like short, bite-sized pieces, bite-sized content, so you can kind of like get a good bit of information and then take it offline if you are interested in learning a bit more. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, we have been talking about some local and international cultural trendsetters. We're going to get into some more comments before we switch over to our Feel Good Vibe of the day. I see a comment here from Jamal Hartman. He says, Dwayne Jones, the Bermudian artist, yes, I love him. He's in Canada. Ganate Jones, who's his sister-in-law. Kaylin Castle are some top Bermudian trendsetters breaking barriers. Absolutely, 1,000% agree. And then we have another comment from Sean Smith, Jack.
In my day, there were only slim-fitted pants. Your mother or sister had to... Oh! Ooh, I went right past that word. There were no slim-fitted pants. Your mother or your sister had to sew your school or dress pants, as well as your jeans into straight legs.
That is so interesting. Like, I would like to see some pictures from back in the day of these straight leg bottoms, because I have real questions that need answers. And so if you're just joining us, do make sure to drop in the comment any local or international trendsetters. We have this last comment from Jamel before we switch over to our Feel Good Vibe of the day, Jack. He says, you are both trendsetters having conversations like this on a daily basis, having to create content, do research, and help people start their day on the good side. Well, thank you, Jamel. We appreciate that. We definitely appreciate that. And we wanted to kind of switch it up a bit because I've been seeing a lot of just Suffer Brown creatives in general, and there are a lot of creatives in Bermuda that are doing the thing. Actually, how could I forget Jade? Queendom Heights.
Yes.
The way she captures
no, she's brilliant.
Shots, the way she captures her shots is so dope. And there's another another photographer that I've seen, Dion the Creative. I haven't worked with him yet, but I've seen him do some really dope stuff as well. And I just love to see creatives doing creative stuff.
Yes, I have to go back to Jade because I went for a swim with my cousin last week, and she was doing. It looked like they must have just gotten married because I think it was Saturday or Sunday last week, and we were swimming in the water, and the shots that she was getting, I couldn't see from her lens, but they were running into the water, they were walking along the beach, and how she was staging them, but it looked so natural at the same time. And she's cracking jokes with them, so they were laughing and she's snapping. I'm just like, look at her, she just makes it look so easy.
So effortless.
That passion, that
yes. We'll definitely have to speak to Jade. It's so amazing. I'm gonna get to this last comment before we switch over to our Feel Good Vibe of today and wrap up today's show. This one's from Jody Virgil, Jack.
DJ Youngles was the best DJ who changed how parties took place, interacting with the crowds and bringing entertainment, UDB dancers into the party. Ain't no party like a Youngles party.
That's so crazy.
Because a Youngles party don't stop, never.
I never knew how to spell Youngles, and I never knew how to spell Youngles. I just knew, I know who she's talking about. Never knew how to spell that name. Never in my life. As we wind down today's episode, we're going to get into today's feel good vibe of the day. Make sure you give a reaction on Facebook or drop an emoji in the comments to let us know how you feel about today's feel good vibe. Today, we are showing you one by a cultural trendsetter right here in Bermuda, Mr. Photogenic. This one is entitled Mountain Bike Madness, so we hope you enjoy.
Mountain Bike Madness right now. This is the home stretch. We have Isis in the front. Isis with the niceness. Naki looking well. Terri looking a little scary. I must admit that. Dion does not want no smoke. Just going right past that. Oh no, Z-Sean with the nosedive. Z-Sean was long gone and a face full of lawn. He was trying to keep that front wheel balanced, then bam, right into the grass. Can someone bring up that camera 2 feed so we can see what happened? He was raging down the hill, top speed, saw the other riders and thought he could do it, but no, he did not have it in him. He did not pull up the bike. The back wheel was too high. I think maybe after 600 push-ups, he might be ready and have the strength to pull that off. But until then, he can sit on the sideline and watch.
He said 600 push-ups. We hope today's Feel Good Vibe has you ready to make it a great one. Thank you for watching this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku, alongside Jacky Lambert. We trust we'll see you tomorrow for another Feel Good conversation. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.